Magandang greetings, I'm Ricky May Batiancila and I'll be discussing the cost diagram for our healthcare billing system. At the center of this system is the patient class. It serves as our main entity, containing essential attributes such as the patient's name and their admission status. As you can see, the patient class has a composition relationship with two other classes, medical service and billing adjustment. This means that a patient owns these objects. If the patient record is removed, their specific medical service details and billing records are also destroyed, as they cannot exist independently. Moving down, let's look at the billing adjustment class. This handles the complexity of hospital stays and extra fees. It tracks the room type, whether it's general ward, private room, or ICU, along with diagnostic fees for imaging and special tests. It also applies a fixed insurance rate deduction to the final subtotal. On the other side, we have the medical service class. Notice that the class name is italicized and marked with abstract stereotype. This is because it serves as a blueprint for different types of service. It defines a protected attribute, service type, and an abstract method, compute charge, which all specific service must implement. Finally, we have the subclass that inherit from medical service, consultation, emergency, and laboratory. This is a clear example of inheritance, shown by the hollow arrows pointing to the parent class. Consultation is straightforward, applying a fixed fee. Laboratory calculates costs based on the number of tests performed. Emergency is more specialized. It calculates charge based on severity and includes a unique method, apply ICU room processing, for critical cases. By using this structure, our system achieves polymorphism. The patient class can call impute charge method on any service without needing to know exactly what kind of service it is, making the system flexible and easy to expand. Thank you.
Greetings everyone, I'm ASUNCION. Today I'll be explaining our program about a medical service system. Let's start with the medical services. We created an abstract class called medical service. This acts as a blueprint for all types of medical services. It contains a variable called service type, which tells what kind of service it is, and a method called compute charge. Now, this method is abstract, which means it has no actual computation yet. It's just a guide. The subclasses are the ones responsible for defining how the charge is computed. Also, since it's an abstract class, we cannot create an object from it directly. Now, let's move on to the subclasses. First, we have the consultation class. This represents a basic doctor checkup. It has a fixed fee of 500 pesos, so the computation here is very simple. When we call compute charge, it just returns 500. This is an example of a service with a constant cost, regardless of any other factors. Next is the laboratory class. This one is more flexible compared to consultation. It has a base fee of 300 pesos and an additional charge of 150 pesos. There is also a variable called number of tests, which determines how many tests were performed. So the total charge is calculated using this formula. Base fee plus the number of tests multiplied by the per test fee. For example, if there are 2 tests, the total would be 300 plus 2 times 150, which equals 600 pesos. This shows how the cost can increase depending on usage. Lastly, we have the emergency class. This represents emergency situations which are usually more serious. It has a base fee of 1,000 pesos and an additional charge based on the severity level. The severity can be low, medium, or high. Each level adds a different amount. Low adds 200, medium adds 500, high adds 1,000. So the total charge is base fee plus the severity charge. This reflects real-life situation where more critical cases require more resources and cost more. The emergency class also has a special method called Apply ICU Room Processing. This method is only available in the emergency class. If we are using a reference type of the parent class, which is medical service, we cannot directly access this method to use. To use it, we need something called downcasting, which allows us to treat the object specifically as an emergency type.
Dangal, greetings everyone. My name is Shane Marian DADULLA and today I will explain the billing adjustment class. First, we have the class declaration, the class billing adjustment. Then we declare the private fields. Private string room type, private INT days admitted, private boolean has imaging, private boolean has special test, private boolean has insurance. These are the data the class needs to calculate the bill. Room type tells us the room of the patient stayed in. Days admitted, how many days the patient was admitted, has imaging and has special test, whether the patient had an X-ray, CT scan, or any special lab test. Has insurance, whether the patient can get 10% discount. We also have the constant of the insurance rate. Private static final double instant insurance rate 0 is equal to 0.10. This means insurance always gives a 10% discount of the total bill. Next, the constructors. Public billing adjustment string, room type, INT admitted, Boolean has imaging, Boolean had special test, Boolean has insurance. This dot room type is equal to room type, this dot days admitted is equal to days admitted, this dot has imaging is equal to has imaging, this that has special test is equal to has special test, this that insurance is equal to has insurance. This constructor receives all the patient's billing information and stores it inside the object using this dot. This allows us to create the billing adjustment object like this. Next is the public double computed adjustment double medical charge. This method takes the base medical charge and returns the final adjustment amount after adding the room type, diagnostic, and applying insurance. First, we calculate the room charge. Double room charge is equal to 0. Switch room type. Case general ward room charge is equal to 800 times days admitted break. Then break. Case private room charge is equal to 1,500 times days admitted. Then break. Case ICU room charge is equal to 3,000 times days admitted. Then break again. Default room charge is equal to 0. We use a switch statement to set the daily rate based on the room type. If the room is none or the other value, room charge became 0. Note, room charge is only added if the patient was admitted days or greater than 0. Next, we calculate the diagnostic fees. Double diagnostic fees is equal to 0 if has imaging diagnostic fees plus or equal 400. If has specialty test diagnostic fees plus or equal to 600. Then these are the fixed fees and are added even if the patient was not admitted or the outpatient cases. Imaging cost 400, special test cost 600. Now we combined everything. Double subtotal medical charge plus room charge plus diagnostic fees. Then we calculate the insurance deduction. Double deduction is equal to has insurance. Subtotal times insurance rate 0. This is the ternary operator. If the patient has insurance, we deduct 10% of the entire subtotal. Otherwise, we deduct is 0. Finally, we return the adjustment total. So the final amount of the patient has to pay is pay medical charge plus room charge plus diagnostic fees minus insurance discount. And that's all for the billing adjustment class.
Everyone, I'm Devera and I'll be explaining the Dangal greetings everyone, I am DEVERA and I'll be explaining the patient in the main class. So first we have the patient class. Class patient, this line declares a class named patient. This class represents each patient in the hospital system. Private string name. Here we declare a variable code name to store the patient's name. Private boolean admitted. This variable checks whether the patient is admitted or not. It will store either true or false. Private medical service. This is an object of the medical service class. This represents the type of service the patient received, like a consultation, laboratory, or emergency. This is also an example of composition. Private billing adjustment billing. This is another object used to handle billing adjustments like room charges, diagnostics, and insurance. This is also composition. Now for the constructor, public patient string name boolean admitted, medical service, billing adjustment billing. This constructor is used to initialize the patient's object. This that name equals name, we assign the value of the parameter name to the class variable name. This dot admitted. This sets whether the patient is admitted or not. This dot service equals to service. This assigns the medical service to the patient. This dot billing is equals to billing. This assigns the billing details. Now the getter methods. Public string get name, return name. These methods return the patient's name. Public boolean is admitted, return admitted. This returns true or false depending on admission status. Public medical service get service, return service. This returns the service object of the patient. Now for the main computation, public double compute total bill. This method calculates the total bill of the patient. Double medical charge equals service.compute charge. Here we call the compute charge method from the service class to get the base medical cost. Return billing that compute adjustment medical charge. Then we pass that amount to the billing adjustment, which applies the additional charges or discounts like room fees or insurance. So now let's move to the main class. So, public class main, this is the main class where the program runs. Public static void string, this is the main method, the starting point of the program. So list patients, new array list. We created a list to store all patients' records. Now we add patients' data. So first patient add new patient Anna, false, new consultation, new billing adjustment none, 0, false, false, false. We create a patient named Anna. She is not admitted. Her service is consultation and she has no extra charges or insurance. Second patient, patients that add new patient Ben, false, new laboratory, new billing adjustment none, 0, true, false, false. This creates Ben. He is not admitted, had a 3 lab tests and includes imaging but no insurance. Third patient, so patients that add new patients Kathy, true, new emergency high, new billing adjustment ICU, 2, false, true, true. This creates Kathy. She is admitted, has a high level emergency case, stayed in ICU for 2 days and has insurance. Now for the output section, system out print, hospital billing system batch output. This prints the system's title. For int I equals 0, I is less than patient size. This loop goes through each patient in the list. Patient P, patient that get I, we get patient from the list. String bill is equals to bill plus I plus 1. This generates a bill number. Now in the display details, so patient name, it prints the patient's name, system.out.print service type plus p.getService type prints the type of service. System.out.print admitted plus P that is admitted, yes or no, display yes or no depending on the admission. Now for the special handling, if P that gets service instance of emergency, this checks if the service is an emergency type. Emergency E, emergency P that gets service, we downcast the service to emergency so we can access a specific methods. System out that prints severity plus E that gets severity prints the severity level. E that apply ICU room processing. This method process ICU related logic. So finally, system out print total bill. This prints the total bill with 2 decimal places. So another print is system out that print and billing batch. This remarks the end of the program output.
Now let's move on to the output of our program. First, we have the bill 1 for the patient Anna. She availed the consultation service and was not admitted. Her total bill is 500 only. This is a simple outpatient consultation case. Next is bill 2 for patient Ben. He had a laboratory services and was also not admitted. But his total amount is 1,500. This shows that laboratory tests usually cost more than the regular consultations. Now, the most interesting one, the bill 3 for the patient Kathy. She was in an emergency case and was admitted to the hospital. Her condition is marked as high severity because he's an emergency case. The system automatically applied ICU and room processing. That's why her total bill is significantly higher. Is about 7,740. So as you can see, the system successfully generated 3 different bills with different services types, admission, status, and special conditions like emergency processing. This kind of batch output is very useful for hospitals to process multiple patients at once and print or save records efficiently. And that's all for the output.
I just had to let you know you're